Hey people, I got a pocket full of Posy. Back in the day, if you emptied a little boy's pocket, you might find spiders, frogs, and lizards, and a stick, and a seashell, and just things, ball of twine, whatever, things that they thought they might could use later on in the day. They'd pick it up and put it in their pocket. But far before that, they used to keep a pocket full of posies. And so there was an old nursery rhyme about this: a ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy. Ashes to ashes, we all fall down. So you used to be able to Google this, and they would tell a story that they weren't sure exactly what this meant. But they thought a pocket full of posies was a flower that was to help keep you from getting the plague. And they thought this came from after a time of the bubonic plague hit in late 1600s. But you got two types of people that write for Wikipedia, and you got, one of them is those that don't know, and the other type is those that do know, but they don't want you to know. You're never going to get any truth out of them. So I'm going to show y'all how to extract some truth out of Wikipedia here. This old nursery rhyme, it was written many ways, and they say it's a ring of rosies, pocket full of posies, a tissue. And this word a tissue comes from a sneeze, a shoe, give them a tissue, and we all fall down. But everybody knows that the American English is the most constant, because we were wide open. We didn't have as many people affecting our old language. But it comes with, sweet bread, rye bread, squat. That don't make sense. And it surely doesn't rhyme. It wouldn't fit a nursery rhyme. And the ring of rosy is actually saying the same thing, and it's coming more from the German. Pocket full of posy, husha busha. Another version, a ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. Kahura, kahura, we all fall down. And that means hush, 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 hush. And so there's a big clue right there. And then there's a ring of roses, lap full of posies. Awake, awake, now come and make a ring of roses. And that's got some clues in it. And so it came many ways. A bottle full of posy, the girls in our town, ring for little Josie. Oh, that rhymes. That might be original there. Or one for Jack and one for Jim and one for little Moses. A tisha. And so it's been changed throughout the years. And you can see this one in German, and you can almost read it. And their interpretation says that the German language has changed since. A ringle Ryan, or cinder kinder dryin, sitzen unterm Hollerbusch, und maken alle hush hush hush. And so you can look at their translation, their loosely translation, and see that it's been changed. But where's in there? Kinder dryin, you're drying it out, and sitzen under them, the Hollerbusch, and making Allah. That's the Hebrew word for God. Allah, making God hush, hush, hush. So you can tell this was a German cook at the house, and he was cooking up medicine that was illegal. And they're making Allah and telling the children, hush, hush, hush. Don't talk about it. So they'll tell you this is all theories, and it's all been shot down. And they'll tell you the word rosy comes from a word for a rose tree. And they'll tell you, it was reworded in the Second World War in association with the Great Plague of 1666. And then it was changed to refit the Second World War, is the version we got. So back in the day, when everybody had the same book in their house, they were speaking one language, a rosy meant the head, a ring around the head, ring around the rosy. And I learned most of this from reading the Hebrew Bible, that almost every line in the Hebrew Bible, there's words that double up, that sound the same but have different meaning. It's like this in Genesis 3 when it says, "Oh, not surely you will die." It's moot, mootin. You be mootin. So when it says, ring roses, it's a ring, means around, and then airing to let everybody know, the ring to let everybody know of the head. A ring around the rosy. Ring around the rosy. The ring around the head. It's talking about this ring around the head. It means enlightened. Those who know. The ones in the know were all enlightened. They had the ring around the rosy. And then a pocket full of posy. And so, a pocket, is a place where you pack it. The boy packs all the things he runs upon during the day, his frogs, lizards, and slingshot. A pocket, and full of posy. And posy has nothing to do with a flower. And it's easy to see here where they say it's a small bunch of flowers or a single flower. Is it a small bunch or is it single, It's neither one. It has nothing to do with that. It's a brief motto or inscription, especially one on a trinket or in a ring. A little brief motto that you write inside of a ring before you give it away. It's the inscription that's inside in the ring. It's the inscription in the ring around. And so if you were going to give your girl with an inscription, it would behoove you to put it in Hebrew. With these couple little bitty words here, you can get a lot more meaning. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. As rich as he swallows down and vomits them up again of his belly and casts them out, God. And not really, but in this language you can get a lot more out of it. And so it behooves you, if you was going to write something in a little ring, you want to get a big message out, this is the language you would use. And then this ashes, that's the same. It comes from, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. And that should read ashes to ashes. And so it's actually ash is, or ashes, what's burn up is ashes. To ash is. And it burn ashes to the god. And so Ash is this ancient Egyptian deity. They pictured as looks more like thought. But it wasn't just Egypt. Ash is still the English god. It's the ancient symbol Ea. In the Sumerian writings, it talks about Ea being the god of creation. It was Ea, and it's pronounced Ash. The reason they say Ea is because they don't understand how to read that. But it's just an A and an E, and it means ash. It means ash. It's been written throughout history, and way back in the day, they wrote it like this: A-E, Ea, is ash. Ash. And that's why you see when I'm reading the Hebrew, and I run on A-E, I pronounce it as E-S, ash. And then before it was written like this, it was just written like this old Anglo-Saxon rune of ash. It was here, the ash. And it was God, and it was oak and ash. And that's because the gods used to be trees. There was a time when the Romans come and burnt all the trees that were in front of all the old churches. But it was the Romans that come and they brought Jesus to the Druids in England, and they cut down all the trees that were being worshipped there. Cut them and burn them, ashes to ashes. And if you look into this, you're going to find a lot of disinformation. They don't want nobody to know about this. But that was the Romans. They come and cut all the ancient trees down in front of the churches. And so this, we all fall down You can see more about it in the German, in making Allah the wheel. Hush, hush, hush. All the gods, they used to live in the wheel. They all lived in the wheel of the heaven. And making Allah hush, cut the trees. Ashes to the ashes. But this posy, being a brief motto or inscription, I ran up on it in this book of Job here. And you see most of the book of Job, it's written in these little posies. Just 6 words, 5 words, all little mottos and inscriptions that could be fit in a ring. Some of it's written in these posies, and then just a little bit of it's written in paragraph style. But in that last movie, I was showing you how most of the book of Job starts with this word here. And this word could be twisted around with markings underneath it, like this, that'll give it different meanings. And sometimes it's the Yoni day, the birthday. But like this, it's just why, vi, why, how, why, who. And then there's 2 y's here. You see here the little dot means 2 y's. It's yom. That's a final end, but it means cycle. And when it's on the end, it's read as an M. And it's where your word time comes from. TM, the mark of the cycle, is the time. And so it's on the end. It's read as an M. And it's why yom. And yom is the Hebrew word for day. And it means a period of light is what it means. So it doesn't mean 24 hours. It means the lit period of the day. It means the day, not the night. And why it's TS, XTS, and you can see the little line under here telling you to read this PR with this ENNOM. And this diamond up top of this T here tells you to move this I on the other side. So it's written on both sides. And it's why yom, it's pronomity. And so pronomity, pranama is when you see some martial artists fixing to fight, they bow off, bowing forward. They'll bow to show respect. It's pronomity, it's respects. To give it its respects. And so how the period of light, the day, it's TS, it's pronomity, to give it its respects. To the jam is the perimeter of a tortoise shell. It means the 28, the days of the month are. And then the R, is the first, the head, the beginning, the first day of the month. And how the period of light, it's pronomity to the first day of the month. And I didn't quite get that. And so I went to the bottom of this and I read it backwards. I read from the bottom all the way up. And so when I got here, boom, it came real easy. But what this says is, the little mark here tells you the L reads separate. And so it's just L, which means of. And then the KM, to come. And so of come, that time come, to give the cycle, the time has come. Of comes, S, KMS comes, OP, and then posy, POSI. Of comes a posy, supposed, that's where that word comes from. Supposed, and comes a posy. And comes a little short motto, a brief inscription. And I noticed underneath it that it was all little short mottos. It was looking like this. It was all just little short mottos. None of it was written in paragraph style. But a posy's also a pickup line, a little short pickup line you might go tell a girl in a bar you met. Therefore my anxious thoughts make me answer. And you see this answer doesn't look anything like the word that begins all of these chapters that they say means answer. And so, and comes posy, and then you go all the way up to here and read this back the other way, pie. Comes a posy pie. Pie is the mouth. Comes a posy pie is sieve, and then the dot in this vav here gives it two vavs. So it's is sieve to, is received to, and then wing, W-N-I, is the wing of sieve to wing. And so you give the posy its wing, let it fly. It came out your pie hole. Of comes a posy pie, to the mouth is sieve its wing. The mouth done let it fly. And then the same here, the dot, is two vowels, and, they give the first one an and. That's just the first vowel. The second one is goes end of vowel. And so the diamond above the B tells you to move this vowel on the other side. Reads on both sides of this word. And so it's end of vow of where, or end of vow in to where, end of vow of where. And then you go back and read this vav again. This markup here at top tells you come back and read however much of the word. And this is just on the one letter, so you just grab the one letter, the vow of where, and then so it's the W-H or the C-H of which, and the vow of where, which, and then turn around and read it the other way. Is who, I-S-H-U. The vow of where it is who, and then huzzy, H-U-S-Y, a little huzzy, which of huzzy, vi, V-Y, means to strive at something, to vie, to try hard to. To Wyam, it's pronomity, a jammer, to the day it's respects to begin the month. Of comes a posy pie is sieving wing, and a vow of her, which is who huzzy vi. And so all these posy pies, that's here. That's all these 6, 7, 8 words that go around these magic seals. And all that magic, that's just people that didn't understand any of this. But it's actually just, it's ways of remembering the calendar, and which of the lords are ruling of the hour of that day. A pie is also a circle, the pie hole, and the posy pie. And so a ring around the rosy, is the enlightened mind. And a pocket full of posy, pocket full of one-liners. Maybe you got them all on your magic seals to remember it all. But it's it's some wise one-liners. And ashes to the ashes, and burn all the gods. It was just the people who didn't know that believed in all the gods. The ones that were enlightened knew that it all had to do with time. And the wheel fall down. Alright, I hope this one was easy. Don't miss that like button. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.